at the end it was only JohnJohn and David, or it was COD, I do believe. It is dry for quali, as we have now loaded in. We will get all our doodads, knickknacks, and shenaniganery that we need up. I do believe that's everything. Yes. So we'll wait and see who our first man is out on track as we get a wonderful ad to start off. Paphos versus Bayern tonight. Youth League game was 3-0 to Bayern at home. Scream if the score in advance. I'll do my best. I'll try and have it up in a different window if possible. And Socks 70 stream streak. Biblical. Absolutely biblical to her intense. And according to Ethan, it's dry and dry. The weatherman has spoken. It is dry and dry, and I do believe our title leader, our 4-time NA champion, hoping to make it 5 this evening, is the first one out on track. If you cue the Death Star music of the Imperial March. So dun, dun, da, 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 da. There he goes, he's on his way. So we're right on board with him as he makes his way onto Raffles Boulevard of 5 and 6. A lovely wee track this, I must admit. It's one that I've always really enjoyed racing. I don't think it matters what game it is. It's always going to be top tier in my eyes. There's absolutely, I mean, there's several issues with it. I'll say that. If anyone can remember from Baku, where if you look on down the straight on St Andrews Road that JohnJohn's on just now, those white lines and then there's a little bit of gap of tarmac. Then you have the wall. The game treats that little gap as off track, so it's really dusty, so you can't really use it in the race. You can use it in qualifying to your heart's content, you have enough grip to do it. But in the race, on worn tyres specifically, that's a very wonky camera angle, that is, good lord. It's very iffy to use. See, like there exactly, you will burn up your rears if you take that line, try and get the power down properly on that dusty surface. So you kind of want to try avoid using it. It's kind of the only like nitpicky thing I have about this track so far. But we'll ride on board with JohnJohn as he makes his way through 18 and 19, past the Singapore Flyer. As you can just see there, that nice big Ferris wheel that the Singaporeans have decided to install right on that apex, into shears of turn 1. You can bounce your way over that curb. 2's not really a corner, you just treat it as a way to set up for 3 as you slingshot your way onto Republic Boulevard in towards 4 and 5. Can go all the way out to that left, bounce over the curb on the right hand side of 5, down Raffles Boulevard, the very first DRS straight that we have on this track. Little dink to the right as you make your way into Memorial of 7, being careful not to clout that curb, avoids it completely. He's not wanting to have any issues with that. Into Stamford of 8 as it swings its way back out to the right, cutting into the left for Padang, and you get a tiny little respite as you make your way onto St Andrews Road into the old Singapore sling, and you want to be really careful you don't hit that wall on that inside. I've done it, it's really not fun. Yeah, you just don't want to do it. Over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin of 13 onto the Esplanade Bridge. It's bridge after bridge here. It's like being a Man United fan. You bounce your way over it into Kona of 14. You can use all that dusty surface that you like as you're burning the last bit of battery that you have down Raffles Boulevard into 16 and 17. This lovely nice wee reprofile bit to try and boost overtaking. Bouncing your way over the curbs can really get up close to the wall if you're desperate for that time gain. Through the last 2 corners, nice and flat, all the way out to the right, and it's a 27-6 set for our banker. I'll see who next to the line was. It was deflated, and he slots in P2 with a 27.9, so he's 3 tenths off in his first run. I don't think he'll be very happy with that one. Definitely knows he's got some time in that lap. Marlborough was about to finish a lap, but he has spun at the last corner. I think he's going to try and sneak into the pit lane, but he might get DSQ'd for this. Marlborough, he's beached. He's going to get DSQ'd, is he not? He somehow made that work. I'm not sure how he's made that work, but he has done. See who's next to the line. I believe it will be COD. So it is our championship trio are going to be the first ones to have valid laps on the board. We'll see what the man in the Sauber can do. Real Madrid scored 5. That just makes it even worse. Chivers saved over his setup instead of loading it. Oh, Chivers. Oh no. It's just not been his day the last two races setup wise. We caught through the last couple of corners and it's another 27.6. That's what, 16 thousandths? If my math's correct. What's that, plus 10? Yeah. 16 thousandths velocity, there's a wee 30.6 just behind those guys as well. I believe it's Ethan that's next to the line. No, it's David. I get those colours mixed up. It's awfully difficult. I think it will be Ethan that's next to do a valid lap. So we're right on board with the man that has the dodgy wheel currently. We'll see how he manages through this couple of corners. You can see it pull into that left just a little bit, unless that's Ethan's natural line through the corners. Does a 29 flat. So he has a wee bit off the pace that we know he can do. But he should be back up there and fighting. Prev does a 28.9. I think he'll be quite happy with that in P4. That's boosting Ferrari's chances of a nice wee P4 in the constructors if they can outscore both the Haas boys this weekend. Or I honestly think will be your constructors of the season, or like duo of the season. I would say they have hardly put a foot wrong. I think they've point scored in every race. At least is Padge going? Prev. Can someone clip that? I wasn't the only one that just saw that, right? I'm a bit bamboozled by what's just happened. I've looked behind and there's just a red Beyblade just behind them. I'm not quite sure what happened there. We'll ride on board with it. Would have been Chivers, but he's invalidated his lap. It was a 34.2, so he definitely backed out of that one at some point. David's next to the line. Got a wee bit of traffic with velocity coming into the pit lane. David does a 29 flat. He slots in just behind Ethan. Can't see who's going to be next to the line here, but I don't think any of our front runners are fully out on track yet. Deflated's just about to come out. Marlboro in the grey area. I would definitely say so, but as the steward, or me and Staley will be the stewards this weekend, I think. We'll see if it gets reported. We will see. Who else have we got coming to the line? I know Marlboro's just started his, but I want to see if there is anybody finishing a lap before we jump on board with him. Is it Chivers on his? We've got Liam just behind as well, but I think we'll jump on board with Liam. Or is he on his outlap? He's on his outlap, I do apologise. It's the other Aston Martin, it's Marlboro. I've forgotten where everybody is, and I've only done this last week. This is shambolic. Excuse me. Jump on board with the man who's trying to help Aston Martin wrap up the constructors this weekend, or challenge for the constructors. At least 13 points between them, so if I believe if JohnJohn's second, because he's not only the Mercedes tonight, sorry, Powen can't make it, but Deaton can. So he should be a decent wee chunk of points for both teams tonight, you'd hope. How is that not invalid? I didn't catch what bit of the track he fully went off at. Chivers with a nice wee 31.3 for his first banker lap. Still right on board with Marlboro for just now, as he'll be the next one to properly do a lap if he can keep it valid. Wide at turn 7. Oh, where he fully ran off. He probably left it off enough, to be honest. It might not be. Oh, that looked very close to the wall. That was a wee slide. I think he managed to catch it. Just about. I don't think he's getting any wing damage from it. See as he makes his way into 18 and 19. Nice and flat, holding it as close to that. You can really bounce over that apex as well. All the way to the left for the man in the Aston Martin. It's a wee 31.4. For him as well, and we had, was that Padge to the line behind him? It was, with a nice wee 29.3, so Padge right in the midfield this weekend as well. I think he'll be quite happy with that. We'll jump on board. It's the man that desperately needs to find a decent chunk of time here. He needs at least 3 or 4 10s if he's wanting to get up and in the mix, and there's 2 10s immediately in the first sector. He runs a little bit wide, coming out of Memorial into Stamford. You can really flick it in if the brake bias is set to the proper setting that you need. It's usually about 54, 55-ish, I would say, for quali, maybe even 53 at a push. Makes his way out of Padang into St Andrews Road, into this old sling where it all comes at you thick and fast. It's a quick bussa left, bussa right. Oh, he's ran wide. Couldn't get the tyres fully dialed in, and they all seem to be a wee bit overheating. We'll see if he's gained time on it, but he seems to be sliding about an awful lot, and I don't think Deflated will be very, very happy with this lap. Makes his way into that sector split, and as you can see, he's lost 4 tenths. I think he has sacked off the lap. He He's still got enough time to go again, but I don't know if he'll be all too happy with how that one's panned out. Did have the time, but he said the lights were too bright, and he's not committed to it. So we're right on board with the championship leader, and we'll see if he can improve on his 0.6. I think he did a 0.5, a 0.4 in the practice lobby beforehand, all the way out to the left for turn 5 down Raffles Boulevard once again of turn 6, that little dink to the right that you get. Into Memorial, you want to brake just as that little wall ends, or the light box is there, using all that curb on the inside. Into Stamford, nice, and Camno sliding about like we saw from Deflated Wee's Aston Martin, and again holding it in 4th. Oh, big slide, never mind, commentator's curse. It's 2 out of 3 championship contenders. They've all had a moment on their lap. Cod Camper, we turn to you. Can you keep it valid and find the time? Turned down really, really early for turn 1. Managed to realise it would have been validated. Turned out of it. We'll see if it cost him any time. He's all the way to that left-hand side, braking just as that little curb starts on that dusty runoff that we try not to use as much as we can, but it's on the racing line and it's optimal. You do want to use it as best as you can, but maybe not a lot in the race. Just again, bouncing over that little curb at the inside of Memorial into Stamford. Can really go all the way out to the left, all the way back into the right, pushing all the way back out to the right. Once again for Padang, it's a little bit close to the wall as he makes his way into the old Singapore sling off turn 10, braking just as that little 50-metre board does pop up, and he's had a moment as well. He's clipped the wall, and I do think he's backed out of it too. The championship trio feeling the pressure already. Deflated's gone back out. I'm assuming that's on the same set. Those do look really new though. He does have 6 minutes left in the session, so it'll be close. If he can get another run in, I think in that time... Oh! Prev indeed. Spinner. Has got it going again. He's not got any traffic coming his way, and he was ghosted, so he has managed to keep it nice and tidy. In that wee time, Jakob, nice wee 29.1, Socks had a 29.7, I think he'll be quite happy with that. Padge did retire, that guy has now joined the session as well. So we're now up to 15 for our race this evening. We'll ride on board with, who'll be the next main one to set a lap. I think Socks is coming in to finish as he bounces his way over the curb. That's a lovely liberal rate, that is. Oh, it brings a tear to the eye, so it does, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Go on board with Velocity, we'll see if he can improve on his 30.6 to the line, and he's just under a 10th off. He doesn't improve on that one, so he'll be into the pits at the end of this lap. Oh, and he's invalidated as well, so he won't be too happy with that one. Prev did bottle his lap a little bit. See properly the next one to the line. I think it will be Liam again. So we'll jump on board with him as he makes his way out of 17 and into 18 and 19. Nice and flat, all the way out to the right, keeping that momentum going as best as you can. Burn down to about 70% into turn 1, just as the 100-metre board shows up, setting up for turn 3. You want to go all the way to that right-hand side. He's invalidated on the exit! Took way too much curb, and it's gone away. I think he's going to continue the lap and see what it was, because that turn 1 looked pretty decent to me. His first little segments of corners. He is only about a 10th, or half a 10th up, sorry, 70 thousandths. I don't think he'll be happy with it. We'll see if he gains time and we'll see what it could have been. But you know, he was 2 tenths up on his first run. I think this might open the door for some of these guys to maybe have a wee bit of a nosy. We know Aya's got decent pace. We'll ride on board with him. At practice lobby, he was threatening the top guys a little bit, and if they can't get their lap in, we could have a cat amongst the pigeons situation for Aya, making his way onto Raffles Boulevard, our first little DRS straight that we have. You want to burn the battery down to about 50 odd-ish, 50 just under percentage. Want to brake just as that little light box starts, just as the wall ends. Oh, a little bit wide, and he's invalidated too! Already, there's just people struggling with track limits. Liam should be in at the end of this. He is. He was about a 10th up. I do believe that said there. Does speed into the pit lane for his frustrations as well, but he won't get penalised for that because it is only qualifying. Pressure is for tyres, guys. So true. So true. Pressure makes diamonds and the bead of your tyre sit on the wheel well. Knowledge facts with Killian. Who will be the next one to the line then? Who do we have? Let's have a giddy gander. I do believe it will be Marlborough. This might be his last lap of the weekend quali-wise. We'll see what he can do. He's got a lot of battery to spare down this last little DRS straight. Do have 4 of them in Singapore with this new one that they added. Just at 100 metres. Oh, that's a little bit wide. He was 7/10 up on the lap. We'll see if he improves on it by any more. Does downshift for the last corner, which isn't the worst thing in the world. You can fully blitz it if you need to. Does improve by a second and goes a 30.3, but he'll only pick up 5 points if he finishes there in the race. And I think Aston Martin will be wanting a little bit more than that so they can outscore JohnJohn and Deaton, who's not set a lap yet. Velocity is coming to the line again. Nope, he's diving into the pit lane, being careful. Oh, bottoming out a little bit on the curb, but he gets away with it. I think that guy's the next one to begin. It would have been, but he's got this next. So that's him done and dusted for this session. Deaton is on his first lap. I think he's the only one. He'll be the next one proper to the lines. We'll ride on board with JohnJohn's teammate. We'll see what he can do. Aya retires. He calls it quits. So it's now advantage socks in the fight for P4 in the Drivers' Constructors. Drivers' Constructors? The Drivers' Championship. Sorry, I'm muddling up all my words already. Deaton looks like he's struggling a little bit. I'm not sure if he properly practiced or not, but I think he just wants to try and get a time on the boards just to see what his pace will be. Last corner flat in quality, yes. It is. You want to go all the way out to the right and not really tap the wall, or you get a this and next, which is really annoying. And you can just bounce your way over the inside curb, and you can either go all the way out to the right and carry the momentum, or you can duck in left and try and minimise the time from like the apex to the start finish line. It's a wee bit of both. You want to try and like get the balance for it. You can see. We're right on board with Deaton, as this will be his final lap of this quali session. I think he's got that guy behind him on a lap. Oh no, he invalidated. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. So we're right on board with Deaton, and we'll see what he can do to the line. It's a 31.7 and goes last of the runners so far as he lets his teammate. Surprisingly, lets JohnJohn through. Doesn't give him any slipstreams. I don't think that's what JohnJohn was really after, to be perfectly honest. We'll ride on board with him, as he will be the first of our trio to set their final lap. He's looking absolutely dialed in as he makes his way onto Raffles Boulevard. Little dink of turn 6 into Memorial of 7. Doesn't get any loosey-goosey. Manages to go straight over that little exit curve there. No spinning, no nothing. Oh, little love tap at the wall on the exit of Stamford into Padang. Keeping it well off of that wall. You can hold it in fourth there, and it just carries that momentum all the way around the corner into the old Singapore sling. Doesn't clip that wall on the inside, bouncing his way over the curves. He's going to bus a left, bus a right, over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin where Felipe Massa famously done that sensational sideways drift pass on, was it Gutierrez? Perez? It was one of the Saubers, I remember that. JohnJohn into the final sector. All he has to do, keep the lap valid. They've all struggled with it so far. Into the main final braking zone of the corner. He's got hardly any battery left to burn. Little bit skittish over that final chicane. Tiny love tap at the wall. Gets away with it to the line. The championship leader finds 3/10. It's a 27.3. Cod will be the next one to the line. Can he find 3/10? Can he displace it? Can he put a thorn in his side? He cannot find the time. Deflated Wee, it's over to you. He can improve, but it's not enough. They all stay as they were. JohnJohn on pole currently. Ethan's improved to a 28.5. That guy done the exact same. Prev is up in P6. David unfortunately gets pushed down to P7. Socks will be the last one to the line if he's managed to keep the lap valid. I don't think he, oh sorry, he did. He found 2/10. But he stays P11. Deaton would have been the last one to the line, but he has already done his lap. And that is us. Cod, I don't think he fully improved on that final run. We'll have a quick gander before Deaton crosses the line. He didn't. He hardly improved. did find time, but it was just not enough. And JohnJohn, managing to find an extra 3/10 on his final run, takes pole position under the lights, and it's advantage the American in the title fight, and it's advantage Cod Camper too, because it's only a 3-point gap between him and Deflated in the title fight. It'll only be a 2-point gain between them, but that is our top three. Ethan takes P4, that guy P5, Prev is P6. That's really good for the Ferrari boys in their hunt for P4 in the constructors. David P7, Jakob P8, Trevor's P9, Padge P10, Sox is P11, Marlboro's P12, Velocity P13, Deton P14, and Aya rounds us off. And breathe for the first time of the evening. Take a wee quick drink whilst I can. I believe we're readying up. We would be in about 4 or 5 minutes, so maybe 2 minutes past. 3 minutes past, even less. I can't count. JohnJohn Diggle. He fully is. He fully is. Pardon me. But whilst we wait on the drivers, sorting their strategy, sorting whatever fuel they want to put in, we will give that a quick run over, and then we will discuss the championship implications that we have. David invalidated a point for. Oh, wow. He's got really, really good NA this season, I won't lie. He's always up there. He's always about top 6, top 7-ish. That would have been his best quality of the season as well, so really unfortunate for the... Was it the Bradistani, I believe is what he calls it. Bradfordstani, Bradistani. It's one of the two, I can't remember. But lost 4/10 into the last chicane, biblical lockout. Oh, wow. Everybody bottled. Or near enough everybody bottled. That's unreal. Unreal. And the one person that found the time was the one person that needed it. So I think JohnJohn will be quite happy with that. Oh, pardon me. Oh, and again. But your strategy this evening, what we discovered last night, or mainly what JohnJohn discovered last night, the 2-stop is viable. The amount of time you gain from an undercut, biblical. I think JohnJohn found about 10-12 seconds, and he boxed, when would that have been, about 4 or 5 laps longer than everybody else. It popped up to that 0.3 and I panicked. He saw the lights were too bright. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. But yeah, 2-stop is viable. It's either going to be a medium, hard, medium, because the hards here, they're not a great race tyre. They're that durable, you can just do the full race on them near enough. But they're really slow. They are really, really slow. You lose so much time if you're not in a DRS train. It's unbelievable. So I would expect the top 3 to go mediums and do the 2-stop. But the 1-stop is also viable if you can make it work. But with the amount of time you gain from an undercut, and depending on safety cars around here as well, it can be a strategy race, which is really what you want when it's a 3-way title decider. Just what you want. Your pit loss time here, it's about 25, 26-ish seconds, and I think you can underfuel here as well, because you really don't gain or lose fuel unless you're properly pushing or saving, or vice versa. It's an interesting one. It really is. The undercut can be really powerful if you can get it right. If you're in the clean air, it's a street track full strategy. Exactly. You can kinda overtake here, but you need like a tyre advantage to do it, really. Or it's lap 1 and people have a wee bit of a dodgy exit. But I do believe we've got our 2-minute timer up. 2 minutes past, 3 minutes past? What's 3 minutes past? I've got a head last of today. Deary. But last final minute, we'll run over the championship implications that we have. So, JohnJohn leads the way with 301 points. You then have Deflated 11 behind him on 290. You then have Cod 3 points behind Liam and 14 points behind JohnJohn on 287. So what needs to happen if JohnJohn is P1, 2, 3 or 4th, no matter what, he is champion. Doesn't matter if Liam and Cod are P1 and P2, nope, that's only a fight between those two for 2nd for the wooden spin. That's all that is. All he has to do, finish in the top 4. If Liam is P1 in that scenario, JohnJohn will win it by 1 point, which is unbelievable in itself that it's come down to this after 15 rounds. I think that's insane. Deflated has to outscore JohnJohn by 12 points because that gap is 11. If Liam wins tonight but the gap remains the same, or they both finish on equal points, it goes on count back, and then I believe JohnJohn would still win anyway because he's won more races. So Liam basically needs to outscore him as best as he can. Cod has the Everest to climb at this point. Liam kinda has... In fact, no, Liam has Everest to climb, and Cod has the Polish route up K2, is what Cod has. That this is biblical. If no one's seen that YouTube video, I'll link it to you after the stream. It's unreal. About the Polish line up K2. It's monumentally difficult is an understatement, honest to God. Cod has to outscore Liam by 4 points, because the gap between them's 3 and he wants to jump him. And then he has to outscore JohnJohn by 15. He needs a miracle. Both of them need a miracle. But we will see if the prayers are answered. We'll get all our doodads, knickknacks, shenanigans, and all other technological paraphernalia that we need in your top 5, all on the mediums. Just what I probably would have expected, to be perfectly honest. Prev and David on the hard. You've got Jakob on the mediums in the middle as well. He might be one to watch out for. Seeing if he can jump those two guys in front of him off the start and get up to P6. Chivers, P9. He was decently happy with the tyre wear in practice. He was a wee bit surprised when we told him that the tyre wear was actually normal and he's got nothing to worry about. You've got Padge and Socks on the mediums too, Marlboro on the hard, Velocity on the mediums, and then you've got Deton and Aya bringing up the rear of the field on those white-walled hard compound. Predictions in chat then, gentlemen, ladies, and they, thems, or the X's and Y. I'm trying to be inclusive here, but I'm probably bottling it, I do apologise. There's your nice wee race strategy thing coming up. Medium, medium, hard. You've got the medium, hard, medium. You probably want to be on the quicker tyres at the end of the race, or that one stop too. Your podium predictions and your title predictions, please, in chat. Tacit, JohnJohn deflated, and Cod, JohnJohn wins the title. I would probably agree with you on that one. However, we want this to remain as impartial as possible. We want this to be as entertaining as possible. And Socks, that's quite a big gap, mate. 10 car lengths now, come on. Chop chop. We've got a title to decide tonight, come on. So they're making their way through the last corner, 18 and 19. We'll jump on board with Aya as he will be the last one to get into his grid slot on that right hand side of the grid. Is that Deton Marlboro? It is Marlboro having all sorts of doodads going on there. I'm not sure what that was, but we'll go back to our guys up at the front and we will see what happens here under the lights in the Marina Bay this evening. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for our title decider. Cod Camper getting a really decent lunge just behind JohnJohn, but deflated we just about sticking behind them as well. The top 3 stay as you were. Ethan got a really decent lunge as well, but he just couldn't make it work. That guy's up to P4, splitting both the Ferraris. The top 3, the championship trio, stay as they were, but they need to be making moves as quick as they can. Liam getting all out of shape, coming out of turn 5, down Raffles Boulevard. That guy might fancy the move if he can get close enough. I think he knows he's best just to sit behind and not get involved in any of this championship malarkey that is going on. Jakob trying it round the outside of Prev, did go off track, has kept the position, he's not gave that one back. Chivers is fighting with Deton further back as well. Socks has had an incredible start, he's up to P8, he's managed to jump his teammate, and David Jakob is up to P6, he's managed to dispose of all of those hard runners in front of him. They've all went absolutely backwards. Socks is pushing Prev through the Singapore Sling section that we used to have at that little part of the track as they make their way onto the Esplanade Bridge for the first time this evening. And JohnJohn already stretching the legs of that Mercedes powered machine, near enough, just about 8/10, just bang on the dot, nearly 9 as they make their way onto Raffles Boulevard. It's nearly got him out of DRS, which will have Liam absolutely licking his lips, but I think he knows if he stays P3 he keeps P2, but if he gets P3 he's not winning the title, which isn't what he wants. But as we finish lap 1 of 31 this evening here in the Marina Bay, it is the top 3 as you were. That guy's up to P4, Ethan into P5, Jakub up to P6, Prev having an awful start on those hards, just couldn't get them firing, he's down to P7. Socks has managed to have a brilliant first lap, if I can find where the position gain is. There we go, we got there eventually. Jakub up 2, Socks up 3, Deton up 3, Padge down 5, he's not had a good start at all. The man in the kick Sauber, it's just not been his weekends the last few races, he's just not had a very good time unfortunately. But we will go back to our guys up at the front and we will see if there's any change. I don't want to stick on board with these guys for very long in case there's any movement further behind them, because it is all starting to split off into their own little DRS trains that we can see on that minimap on your right hand side. So they make their way through the Singapore sling section again, over the Anderson Bridge, all the way out to the right, cutting back into the left. Little bit of a lock-up from Lima. Big kick of like, oversteer on exit as well, and that's what I was talking about in qualifying. That amount of wheel spin on that dirty section of the track. Oh, he's tapped the wall! That's not what you want, definitely not. I think we know JohnJohn is running 50-50 wings. I do believe, unless he's tweaked it from yesterday, that man is on 50-50 wings. I believe COD and Deflated have also tweaked theirs from yesterday, where we discovered that you can absolutely mince the curbs and have no repercussions for it. You've got Velocity and Deton going side by side under the Singapore Flyer. Aya's going to try and poke his nose in as well. Wisely backs out of it. Deton has to go off the track to take avoidance. He's going to try it round the outside into turn 1 if he can get close enough, and if my camera pans up to it, doesn't. Deton completely cuts turn 1. Just a wee bit here, there and everywhere so far from the man in the Merc. I think Ian knows he can put him under just a little bit of pressure and he will just be able to fly past down the DRS straight. It's not realistic, it will just be wings and whoever's got the most battery to play with, but they are both gaining rapidly on velocity. Here comes Deton down the inside, gives him the room on the outside just about. Oh, he picks up 3 seconds for that actually, it wasn't quite close enough. Aya's trying to follow the Merc driver through just about, gets it done. There's no tapping of like, a wee incident between Grosjean and Russell that we had where he just tapped him into the wall. They all make it through there fairly unscathed, and I think Aya will now be charging after Deton ahead of him. My voice is already going, it's been 3 laps. See what I mean? Oh, we're here, there and everywhere. We'll take a very quick drink of water and hopefully nobody changes position. I take it back. They're probably going to change position. Oh, excuse me. Have some Dr. Pepper. That's the emergency one, that is. I'm trying to keep it on the water. We're trying to be healthy. Trying to be a lot healthier. But I am not properly getting close enough to get that move done just yet. Pushing Deton just through turns 18 and 19, not quite close enough to get the move done. He could have had it done a few laps ago, but all this RG-bargy nonsense is going to invite velocity into the fray. Would have. He's fully lifted off to try and conserve. We'll jump back to the guys up the front quickly. I think they are all fairly happy sitting behind each other in DRS training for just now. So we'll go a wee bit further down the field and we'll see if anything happens. And Sock's going to try it round the outside of Prev. Not about, didn't really get enough room on the outside. He's not lost any time, but there's someone who's lost time. Jakub spun. The man in the McLaren, P6 down to P8. He's now back where he started. And his mediums will be cooked. Absolutely cooked. They will be done, I was going to say medium rare, but he's toasted them, so they'll be well done. It will be like a pair of Hypersofts, is what those tyres will be like. Now that's a lovely camera angle. Beautiful. One thing I need to credit this game for a little bit more, some of the cameras you get as spectator, they're absolutely gorgeous. But he'll now be hoping he can get back up past Socks, up past Prev, into P6 and hopefully charge on so he can retain his P4 fight in the constructors. I believe, or the standing, sorry. I believe as it stands now, that guy would jump ahead of Scott. And maybe Aya as well, as he's still a little bit further down the order. We'll try and work that out when it's nearer the end of the race. We'll go back to our championship trio, and Deflated struggling to keep with. The others have a decent amount of battery, but Liam is pushing it as much as he can. And this might already be a GG for Deflated Wee's championship. Jakobs went off again. He has got damage. There is a fragment sat there on the wall at turn 5. He's got it going again, so there won't be any safety cars or VSCs. I think he might try and stay out of the way so it doesn't really impede anyone else. Chivers has now tapped the wall a little bit coming out of Stamford. We'll go back up to our guys up at the front. That's very close from Ethan. I think Jakob's just done the sensible thing there and just let all those guys through of that big DRS chain that's forming at the back. We'll keep on board with Ethan for just now, as this is the closest fight we have on track. He's not fully burned, and that guy's not sat in none either. They are both on reduced harvest, and as you can see, that number on their dashboard is all coloured out and grey, but there's a little bit of contact between them. We'll see if Ethan... Oh, he won't fancy the move there, he's round! It's the same thing that Prev did in quali, or Marlboro nearly did in quali. I'm not sure how he's managed that. The car just bottoming out over that little bump of the DRS, and the dirty air just not helping. It's probably his wheel settings won't help with that either. He pulls himself into the pit lane. That's another heavy hitter front runner gone from the race. Sox is now up to P6, David up to P7, Chivers up to P8. It's now a Ferrari 4-5. It's going to be their best result of the season if it stays like this, and they will definitely clinch P4 in the standings if it stays like that. That's unbelievable from Ethan. I'm not sure how that's kept it going, to be perfectly honest. Jakobs called it quits in the pit lane. I'll be surprised if Ethan doesn't as well. I think he has kept it going, but I don't know if they fixed his wing. I don't know if that wing got fixed. Can't see it from this angle. I think it has. Yes, it has. So he is keeping it going, and fair dues to him for keeping that going. He is 20 seconds off the next car, so I think he'll be hoping for a safety car to try and save his bacon. That's unbelievable that that did not DNF his car, that he didn't lose a wheel from that. I can't believe that. I think it's just a mix of the dirty air, warm tyres, and the wheel not working for him, and it's just bottomed out over that bump and lost grip. Really unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate. He is keeping it going though, so he might get brownie points for that. We'll give him brownie points for that. Yet my tap of the barrier in Baku. The Baku ones are just pure RNG as well, to be perfectly honest. They, because I grazed that exact same wall, I think 3 times and got away with it. I think you just need to pretend to love EA. And they grant you wishes, so it's how it works. We'll jump with this little battle for just now. Our front 3 are sitting as they were. As it was. That's a nice wee song, that, by the way, I would recommend. Velocity still behind Deton. Aya did manage to get up past him. I think I missed that wee one. I do apologise for that. But it is now a fight for the final spot in the top 10. We do have points all the way down to P15. Kelly Styles. I don't think that one will catch on as well. I won't lie. That's made me giggle, sorry about that. But yeah, the velocity is just... Oh, that's close! Oh, he's round and he's hit... Oh, dearie dear. Oh, that's just a kerfuffle, that is. I don't know if Velocity got wing damage. I don't know if Deton did either. We'll watch as they make their way through the sling. Deton's is still fine. Velocity's looks fine. I think Deton's just really struggling for grip and for pace, and he's doing well to keep these guys behind, but if he was going to hold anybody up, I think JohnJohn would want it to... Oh no, he is holding up Marlboro, sorry. So this is helping Mercedes in their constructors fight, currently. But I think they'd want to be a little bit further up and in better point scoring places if they were going to pull off tactics like these. Killian only reacts to contact because he has to steward these incidents after. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't be silly. I think it's Steely's turn this week, but if there's anything like championship implicating, then we'll probably both have a say on it. We've got both the Ferraris swapping places. Oh, that's a big rear lock snap for that guy. Prev's now up to P4, which I don't think helps Socks if I'm looking at my standings correctly. It doesn't. So it helps Scott out with the fact that guy's now P5 and he's losing an extra 3 points. He'll go from 18, no sorry, he goes from 15 to 12, so yeah, it's still 3 points. I can't count, man. Oh, it's been a long day. I think that guy's mediums have fully died off. Those rear rights need some Factor 4000. They are covered in blisters. Absolutely littered in them. That rear right especially, that's not looking very good. So I think he's hoping his teammate can just pull him along in his DRS, and he should hopefully be alright with it. Oh, David! He's done the same as Ethan. I can hear the screaming and shouting from here. Oh, dearie dear. The man in the Alpine, he's had such good weekends, back to back to back. We'll see if he retires. I will be very surprised if he doesn't. And Nook has just been dropped on Bradford. Will they fix his wing? They will. So there's no more shouting. Everybody else's ears in the party are safe and sound. That's good to know. But it's so unfortunate for him. He invalidates the lap in quali and then has that. I think it's just that bump. It is just that little dink. I think as they make their way onto the boulevard, it's a mix of the dirty air, the DRS open, because you don't have downforce to keep it planted. So unless you keep it in none through that little bit, and then put it on overtake afterwards, we'll watch these guys here and see if any of them do it. I don't think they will. Cod's managed to keep it fine, Liam kept it fine, he was in overtake, so was Cod. JohnJohn would have been in none saving because these guys are quite happy to sit behind and just get towed along. We'll see if it happens to that guy, but I don't... No, he keeps it fine as well. Does go really far out wide though. JohnJohn boxes, as does Liam. Cod stays out. We have our first blink of the championship trio. Deflated, going for that undercut. He remembers it from the practice lobby yesterday. It's critical. Genuinely critical that you get this part of the race right. Velocity finally gets past Deaton. Deaton's still really close and try to go round the outside of him into that final chicane at 16 and 17. Can't get the move done. Deflated does come out ahead of Chivers. I think Chivers had a slide going into turn 2 and turn 3. So he's managed to keep it nice and steady. Both of the front runners onto hards. I've came out my Xbox party. I will jump that very quickly back in and on invite only. JohnJohn flies his way past Aya, but Deflated now doesn't have DRS currently. Needs to get past Aya ASAP. Well, I mean, I was going to say ASAFP as soon as you know possible. But I don't think I can say that on stream, so I'm not going to. Deaton makes his way past Velocity again. These two are having an almighty ding-dong throughout this race. Ethan's now managed to close up to these guys on his fresh mediums. I think he has done a medium hard. I do believe. I won't check the race director in case I miss anything. We'll see if Cod boxes in response. He doesn't, he stays out. I'm not sure what Cod's plan is here, unless he's attempting the one stop. But I'm not sure it'll work out, because he's going to lose so much time. We'll jump to the leader gap. It's about 22-24 seconds currently. You lose 25-26 in the pits. Even Scott's pulled the trigger now. He might jump Cod. This could be a possibility. I think COD is going to try the one-stop. I'm going to keep that on the leader gap now so we can keep an eye on it and see how much that gap falls. But COD is at serious risk of losing the title and losing out on a shot of P2. I think these guys are still fighting. Deton drifting his way through turn 1. Velocity's looking for the move. Marlboro's looking for it on the inside. Is he going to try and get 2 in one corner? Ethan is going to try and get 2 in one corner. He's going to try and barge his way through. He's got Marlboro on the left. Velocity ahead of him. He's going to give the Aston Martin driver all that room on the outside. He makes it work. He's up to P10. He's now going to try it either down the outside or down the inside. It's going to be on the inside. Does send that. Velocity gives him that room on the inside. There's a little bit of algae between them. Velocity just about keeps it on the white line, and Ethan round the outside into Stamford. They all just get a wee bit niggly and wiggly, but he's managed to just keep it there plenty enough, and Ethan has wing damage, which definitely won't help him, and that's new wing damage. Oh, that might be even more. He's tapped the back of Deton. Deton just absolutely deploying the mobile chicane. This is the Carlisle Minister of Defence is what this is. He's going to defend the inside, but I think with the slipstream and DRS that Ethan has, flies round the outside into Conop, gets that move done. You'll have the DRS again, and Scott in all this traffic. Now Marlboro's nearly now bottomed out over that curve. I think Scott does know he needs to make the moves now to make these tyres work, but these guys are going to trip up over each other soon if they're not careful. In that gap, JohnJohn has gained 4 seconds, and Deflated, I believe, has gained 2. He's going to come out about 6 seconds behind. I'm not really sure what his plan is here, to be perfectly honest. Unless he's seen that massive big train of cars that are all fighting. As JohnJohn now makes his way past that guy who's still out on those mediums. We'll go back to this fight further behind. Deton still leads the way. Sox has managed to get past Marlboro. Can he send it on Velocity, who's been a victim of turn 7 so far this afternoon? Little bit of algae pushes him wide. Does take the position, but Velocity's not going to have it. Sends it up the inside. Gets a little bit of half spun. Marlboro's now going to be on his inside for Padang. Gives him the room. They're side by side through turn 9 onto St Andrews Boulevard. Are they going to back out of it? They're not. They're going to go side by side into the old slide. That's unbelievable. Velocity gives him the room, gets out on the marbles, loses the grip. Marlboro, using simple mind games, takes P11. Sox is sending it down the inside of Deton. He's now up to P9 and making those tyres work. Deflated's up to P4. He's now up past that guy. JohnJohn did make the move on Prev there as well. I'm going to turn blue. Lads, can we simmer down? Chivers has ran a little bit wide at the final corner. Ethan's now fully moved clear of these guys as well. We'll put the gap back to interval for now. We can see that gap slowly starting to tumble, but JohnJohn's taken nearly 10 seconds out of these guys. Ethan picks up 3 seconds for his woes as well, but I think that wing damage isn't helping him either. We'll see if Liam fancies a dive bomb. He's going to try it round the outside. Can't quite get it. Prev holds the inside. Not going to be enough. Liam takes the inside into Padang. Gets the move done, and now he's up to P3. I think COD is going to try and stick this out for as long as he can. And then, when JohnJohn gets in his DRS, he will then swap or box. Because those guys need to box again and COD won't. However, there will be a tyre offset to that. Because COD will need to go hards and the other guys can go mediums. As we've got David and Marlboro going side by side as well. Poor Velocity he's been victimised this race. Sox got up past Ethan there as well, who I think is struggling with that wing damage through, I was going to say through this tricky part of the track, but everything at Singapore is a bit tricky, to be perfectly honest. Oh, pardon me. They are starting to slowly simmer down. It is just a mix of the guys on new tyres fighting their way through the guys who haven't boxed yet, and I'm assuming David will get this move done here ASAP. I'm going to see if I can dig up the points that we use, because Alex sent me that in DM, and I will get that up so I can sort out constructors and we can see how that looks. David, oh, that was awful close. That was awfully close. Velocity picks up 3 seconds for his woes as well. David's going to take it to the inside, into Shears. Deaton going to try and hang it round the outside, but he's just not got the tyres to do it anymore, and David is now up to P10. It's been a really good recovery drive, to be honest. He's managed to claw back 20 odd seconds. I think he'll be quite happy with that one. Velocity and Marlboro going side by side. To Marlboro now once again up past Velocity, who I think will be into the pits very soon to get off those tyres. Oh, pardon me. There's not many fights happening now. I'll jump back up to who we got that's close on track. We'll stick with Velocity and Marlboro just now, since these guys are fairly close together, or will we? I think Cod is boxing. He is! Into the pits comes the race leader. He's lost an he's lost 14 seconds in 4 laps. I'm not sure what the plan was. I think he's going to try a long one-stop and he's going to defend for all his life against JohnJohn and Deflated. They now take P1 and P2, and he's going to come out miles behind. That guy now boxes. Aya might jump Cod. There he is, on the left-hand side. We'll jump on board with him and we'll see. There goes Aya. He is ahead, but he has not boxed. This is the dirty air that these guys don't want. Because Cod now needs to get past Aya here. If he doesn't, it's just going to ruin all of his Sector 2, and I think he knows that, and he completely flies past the man in the Red Bull. He's now up to P4 and he can start chasing down Prev in P3, who's also yet to box. And the gap between those guys just sat at about 2.63 seconds-ish, roughly, 2.5, 3 seconds, which isn't what Deflated needs. He needs JohnJohn to have an oopsie, and he has not had a whoopsie since the first round of the season, where he put on the wrong tyres after a safety car restart. The man has not put a foot wrong all season long, and now he desperately needs him to do it when it matters. I do pray for him. I'll say that. I will definitely pray for him. We've got that guy and Ethan having their own little battle as well as they make their way into turn 10 of that old Singapore sling with a Bossa left again, Bossa right, Bossa left, Bossa little bit of a right, Bossa right, Bossa left again. A lot of Bossa on a left and right. Gets a nice wee undercut. He's now up to P8 ahead of Ethan, who doesn't really have the DRS or the tyre life left to fight, and I think he's quite happy to just concede that one and slot in behind. We are at half race distance. Just over, just under, one of the two. It's about 52, 53ish. I can't do math. It's too much for me at this time in the evening. Dies from cringe. Nah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. That guy gets 3 seconds now as well. Some of these guys cutting it quite close track limits wise. Don't think they'll be happy with it. Gap now between JohnJohn and Deflated, 2.3. I'm going to jump and see what the gap between all of them was. It's now down to 14. So watch that gap between Cod slowly start tumbling. He has completely dumped Aya. About 5 seconds back he is now. I'm going to jump to the championship standings. There we are. How many chicken nuggets you got? None. I didn't have chicken nuggets. I wish I had chicken nuggets, but I don't have chicken nuggets. I'd quite like some chicken nuggets now that you've mentioned it. Jump back to the interval gap. It's still just about 14 odd seconds. I think Cod is going to try and take these hards to the end. I'll be surprised if he boxes again. I think the only time he will box again is for a safety car. Which, the way some of those guys were driving earlier, I'm surprised there wasn't. Really close to that wall over the Anderson Bridge. It's awfully spooky. Are they in the freezer, perhaps? If my parents had bought chicken nuggets and not told me. It's quite sad. That's treason. That is. Speaking of tree, Cod Camper into third. No, I'm sorry, that was bad. I'll accept that one was cringe. Cod up to P3 and he can now start charging after Deflated and JohnJohn, but we'll check and see what the gap is in a few laps when it starts tumbling down. I think Ethan might be into the pits in a few laps time. He is still going for now, rise of cringe V2. 50 bomba blood-clad wagwan nuggets. This has gone off the rails. You have distracted me. COD a tree. It's I don't really know what I was going for, to be honest. It's been a long day. There's only so many times that you can look at a suspension strut on a car and not want to hit your head off it. That's all I'll say. It's been a long day. A very long day. Gap just still stabilising with those guys. Jump back to it's down to 13.9 and the gap between those two is at 3.2. So it would have worked if you were Irish. I mean, my name is, I would say that counts. It's got half the Irish spell. COD in P3. Yeah. P33. No, I don't know. I don't know. You're distracting me with your silliness and nonsense. Have got both the Haas guys a little bit close together. Chivers will probably be in at the end of this lap. He lets his teammate through, so that's Socks now on a charge. Gives Deton, gives Chivers a little wiggle to say thank you very much. Prev is into the pit lane and is now put on a fresh set of medium, so that will be him to the end of the race. Chivers does dive into the pit lane, getting a little bit wayward and wonky on his way in, but that pit lane is just wayward and completely wonky. It's not the best one on the track, I won't lie to you. Both Ferraris are going to come out extremely close. Once again, P6, P7. And there is guys ahead of them that do need to box again. That guy will be going to the end. Prev will be going to the end. Ethan is now in on this lap as well. I'm assuming that will be for hards because he's not ran them yet. And he is in for a new wing as well. It has all simmered down a little bit. The gap still at 13, 14-ish seconds between these guys. And I think COD has made the mistake by not doing the two-stop. Marlboro's followed in as well. He'll be onto mediums for the final wee bit. It's maybe close between these two actually. Let's watch this one as they make their way out of the pit lane. Marlboro on that inside. Deton does take P13 from the man in the Aston Martin, and those two only scoring 2 and 3 points respectively. I'm giggling at the chat now. He's have properly put me off my rhythm. Deflated boxes. Goes for the undercut. We'll jump to the leader gap. We'll see what that comes out as. He's 5.5 behind COD currently. We'll see what that plummets its way down to. JohnJohn should, and I would assume, respond this lap. We know how strong the undercut is. These guys have to try something different if they want the American to stop him becoming a 5-time champion. The gap, 29.7. COD kicked a tree, COD camping in a tree, COD in V tree. We need to make this a meme now. We need to break it. I need to break out the old meme maker and bring this back up. I'll do it for this one, since it's the finale. I'll be nice to everybody. Speaking of being nice, there goes Aya, letting Deflated through. He knows that's not his fight, and is now charging his way through the Singapore sling. We'll go on board with JohnJohn. I'll be surprised if he doesn't box at the end of this lap, just to cover off Deflated. He stays out. So has he now thrown a curveball? I don't think those hards can do another 11 laps. Ayas are on 18 and he has 4 sets of Harry Hills on that car. They are bolder than no tomorrow. I don't even think a trip to Istanbul could fix the baldness on those cars. If I'm on those cars, on those tiles, dearie me, I'm getting everything bamboozled. He stays out. They must be absolutely dead. You can see how much he's lifting off through that final corner. They must be struggling for just any form of grip. I think Socks will be quite happy to start chasing that down because he needs to finish ahead of Aya if he wants to get past him in the driver's stand. It's a 14-point gap between them, but I don't think it will be enough. If Socks finishes P4, he gains 15. If Aya is P5, he gains 12. So he only gains 3. That's not enough. Aya's going to get a puncture if they don't pit soon. Yeah, I'm very surprised he stayed out as long as he has. He's still got both the Ferraris right behind Scott as well, so he's doing well to keep them at bay, but they are on fresher tyres. And Liam gained 2 seconds on Cod that lap. We'll go back to JohnJohn. We'll see if he comes in, but if he's pulled a masterclass here and is taking those tyres to the end, which I don't think he is, and he's not, the championship leader, the race leader, into the pits, doesn't speed, keeps that nice and tidy. So now we need to watch the gap between Cod and, crucially, Deflated. He will see that his title rival that he's had all season long is in the pit lane. It's a fresh set of yellow old mediums for the American. Is it going to be close? We'll wait and see. JohnJohn just making his way to the pit exit now. I don't think this is going to be close enough. I don't think Deflated's had the ERS to do it. There's JohnJohn. Here comes Deflated. They're going to be side by side coming out of the pits. He swoops round the outside. He's managed to get the undercut, but JohnJohn, fresher tyres, more ERS, DRS. He should be able to fly straight past. Is he going to do it straight away? Liam's burnt all he has. He's sat in none. Here comes JohnJohn. Deflated, moves over, covers that off. Maybe a little bit late. Might have peed off JohnJohn. Just a little bit. But he's made the undercut work. And now he has to keep it. I don't think he's going to. I think he needs to sit behind JohnJohn and just hope he can pull him in his DRS. The gap they now have to Cod, 12 seconds. It's about 12-13 seconds. Oh, no way there was an ad break. No way. Oh, that's unbelievable. That's harsh. That's very, very harsh. I think JohnJohn currently is happy to sit behind Deflated, knows that he can stick in the DRS and not worry about it. There goes JohnJohn. He retakes P2. Deflated now can sit behind and hope JohnJohn can take him to the promised land, to the mothership of Cod Camper in P1. That gap, 12.3 seconds. As it finishes now, it will be JohnJohn P1, Cod P2 and Deflated P3 in the championship. However, there is 10 laps to go of our season finale. They need to catch by a second each lap, which on fresher tyres should be doable. Speaking of, Sox is now into the pits for his final stop. David follows him in. Aya did box during all that shenanigans as well, as did Chivers for his mediums too. I think I covered that when he came in at the same time as Ethan. Still never had an ad in our stream. Let's change that, let's run one now. I'm kidding on. Pardon me. I think if you have Twitch Prime, you don't get ads. It doesn't matter if you're subbed to the channel or not. To the Twitch channel, you won't get ads. However, if you do wish to support the league, it is there. We have a yellow flag, Marlboro. He's done the same thing again. More wing damage, no VSC or safety car. And that might be Aston Martin's constructors' hopes dashed. Completely and utterly dashed. It's looking like another clean sweep for our American in P2. He's got that gap down to nearly under 9 seconds, and it probably will go to it as he can take that final corner flat out to the line. There's a 30.9. He's about a second off the race record, so 29.5 for the race record. So unless somebody comes in at the end and they have a spare set of softs, I don't see that race record being beaten. Unfortunately, that gap now down 9.5. Cod, I think, is saving. If you look at his ERS, up at 67, and if you look on the top right of his steering wheel, I don't know how well you can see it, but that fuel gauge is only at 0.02. I can't tell if it's positive or negative, but Cod Camper is fuel saving, and it's not the only thing that he needs to save, because currently his championship hopes are vanishing without a trace. As are Deflated. He's now out of the DRS of JohnJohn. The American is on a charge under the floodlights here at Singapore. COD is going to need to defend for his life if he wants to keep this, and I'm not wanting to have any dramas, but I think Deflated is praying that these two have a collision, because it means he'll take P1 on track, but Prev is 22 seconds behind these guys. He's absolutely ages away. So unless one of them DNFs, it's looking likely that this is JohnJohn's championship. Unless we have an Abu Dhabi 21 repeat and there's a safety car. Which we haven't had yet. COD needs to defend like a lion, then do what he did in Miami. Pretty much. Has to keep it as best as he can. Near enough. Socks up past Chivers as well, he's up to P7 and P8, and I think the Haas guys are going to lose out on their P4 in the Constructors. As it stands, we've got both Ferraris P4 and P5, which is 17 points, and you then have both Haas's P7 and P8, which is 8, 8, 16, 15. They get outscored by 2. Oh, they might still be alright actually. They'll only gain by 2, so they should be okay. They need to outscore them by 10. They're looking fine just now. JohnJohn has completely dropped Deflated. And a reminder, if it stays like this, COD is P2 in the championship. Crazy to think no matter how hard he defends, it still wouldn't be enough. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I think the fact that we've managed to get it as a 3-way fight after 15 rounds and a 2-way fight for the Constructors too, so it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We'll see what the Constructors will finish as now actually whilst we wait too. So you've got JohnJohn in P2, that's 20 points. You've then got Deton in P12, which is 4 points. So that's 24. You've got Deflated P3, which is 18, and then you have Marlboro 14, which is 12. So that is 12. I'm making up numbers here. Good God. Okay. It's looking like Mercedes to lose. I'll sort it all when I can figure out where I put my pen. I think it's in my bag somewhere. We'll do a very quick pit stop for a new pen whilst we watch these guys make their way over the Anderson Bridge for the 25th time of 31. There we go, pen's been found. Elbow deep in my bag, try to find it, that's not fun. We'll wait and see how it ends up. Ethan with another 3-second pen. We'll jump and see how penalties look actually, and if any of them are actually like championship implicating. Aya might catch that guy. He is on the fresher tyres. I'll jump back to the gap. He might catch that. Deton picks up more as well. We've got a yellow flag further back. Is that Ethan? David, it's Ethan again. Into the wall. He's wheel not doing him any favours at all. Thank you, Sam. 24 points for Merck, 20 points for Aston. I couldn't get the words out. I know, but like, my brain knew what I was trying to say, but I was just reading things off the screen and just saying that. It wasn't working. It really wasn't working. So as it stands, Mercedes will extend the gap by 4 points and win the Constructors. If it stays like it does just now. Go back up to the fight at the front. 6 to go. The gap down. 2.7. JohnJohn has depleted that battery. He can see COD in front of him. See if COD's improved his fuel situation a little bit. He hasn't really. They're all very, very close fuel-wise. We've got another yellow flag. I think that guy spun at turn 1. He has! Aya now goes through. Socks might be able to gain on this if we can get close enough. But I've now just seen how big that gap is. Maybe not. Deton pen at the moment makes it 23 points for Merck. Ah, he's just picked up that extra one. He'll drop down one. They'll still win it though, which is the main thing. We'll go back up to what can be the title-winning fight. The lapped cars getting out of the way. I don't think Padge gave Ethan has retired in the pit lane. I thought that was on track there. There was another yellow flag that came up and I thought we were going to have a very, very late safety car. So Ethan calls it quits in the pit lane, just not happening for him today. But you can see the blistering on that back right of Cod Camper. He does have lap cars ahead of him. If he can get in the DRS, JohnJohn's teammate will give him DRS, and I think he might have got it. We'll wait and see what it is as they make their way onto the straight, and he does! JohnJohn didn't get it. His own teammate who's given him DRS, and he's still not fully moving out of the way either. Cod will say thank you very much. Now he moves out of the way. Deaton forgetting what team he's on here. And it's maybe just bought Cod an extra lap. I don't know if Deflated will catch up. I think Chivers has had a little bit of a moment as well, coming out of that little squiggly section. Can't remember the name of it. Conan, that's the one. Not close enough for it. We'll go back up to the front as they make their way over the Anderson Bridge, onto the Esplanade Bridge. Here comes JohnJohn then. Cod doesn't fully defend it, burning as much as he can into none for the braking zone of Conal at 14 onto Raffles Boulevard for the third DRS straight of 4 is JohnJohn. Gonna fancy the move, doesn't bottom out over the bump. Cod thinks to the right, thinks to the left. JohnJohn nearly loses the car. Cod locks up. They're gonna try and push their way through the final chicane into 18 and 19. Cod stays ahead, and all this fighting behind is just going to invite Liam into the fray. JohnJohn doesn't have the battery, neither does Cod. Oh no, Cod does have batteries, just sat in none and saving, doing the best that he can. JohnJohn pushing him through the corners. They're not close enough to get the move done. Yeah, couldn't get it into turn 1. Is it going to be done on the Raffles Boulevard? Cod has the battery to burn. JohnJohn doesn't. He has the DRS. Does he have enough slipstream to do it? Here comes the American to the inside, or the outside, sorry. Cod defends the inside. They're going to go side by side into sector 2. Here they come again. Cod locks up. There's contact between them. Cod's in the wall. JohnJohn stays behind for now. I don't know if Cod got wing damage from that. I don't think he did. And he lives to survive another day. And Deaton currently has the front row seats for this battle between his teammate and Cod Camper. We'll go back up to JohnJohn's POVs. He's pushing him through the hairpin of 13 onto the Esplanade Bridge. Is he going to fancy a late dive bomb? Can't get it done, and I think Cod has burned a fair amount of his battery just trying to stay ahead. Here they come again onto the third DRS straight. Cod going to defend that inside for all he can. He's going to move over and try and push JohnJohn out wide. He's going to go round the outside of Cod Camper, gets the move done. JohnJohn takes the lead. Cod's going to fancy it. There's contact. He's off. Stuck his nose in at the final corner, trying to hold on. Couldn't get it done. JohnJohn takes the lead of the race, and with that, the championship too, as it stands. 2 laps to go of this race, and all that fighting has meant Deflated is now only 2.5 seconds off. The fighting, the half spin between them, Deflated now will still be P2, but I think he'll want it on the road, and rather than only getting it by a point, will have the tyre advantage. All that fighting will have cooked Cod's hards. Unbelievable. Oh, they won't even be well done at this point. They will be burnt to a crisp. And as Nico says in chat, JohnJohn is so lucky that didn't result in a spin for both of them. I can see what Cod was trying to do, but the move just was not on. They just didn't have the tyres, didn't have... It's just not an overtaking spot, really. You can't really go side by side through that final point of the track. We'll see if Deflated can catch up and take P2 in the end. But as it stands, JohnJohn will win Season 9, no assists, as he starts the penultimate lap 30 of 31. We'll see if Liam can catch? I don't think he will, but this top three are in an absolute league of their own over this season, over this race, just overall. They're nearly 30 seconds clear of the next car, and that's not even on strategy, that's just pace. They're unbelievably fast, and I think they have shown why no assists is our best tier that we have. It's very close between realistic, I will admit. Not to give Socks a downer, because I know he loves realistic. But what a season it has been for both of these top three. They've all had their highs, they've all had their lows. Deflated getting his 30th win of the season. COD pulling results out of the bag when he needs it. JohnJohn looking like he's on par for his 5th NA title overall. They have just been in an absolute league of their own, and honestly, if you could give 3 people driver of the season, it would be these 3. They have just been in a league of their own. An absolute league of their own. I don't think Deflated is going to be close enough to catch, unfortunately. COD had the strategy right, he just didn't have the tyre life to fight it, unfortunately. And I think Liam's mediums have now died off. As we start the final lap of Season 9, no assists, round 15 of 15, here under the floodlights at the Marina Bay circuit. I can't talk anymore. We'll ride on board with our champion in weight, JohnJohn 1112643. I hope that's not his phone number. As he makes his way into Sector 2 for the final time this evening. He got pole. He's done what he had to do. He's got the fastest lap currently, I believe. We'll check that very quickly, actually, and we'll see. It is looking like a Grand Slam, which is just an obscene way to round off a title. We'll jump on board and we'll give him a nice, lovely stat pad. Highest average finish of everyone in assists. He's just been on a mission this season. Hasn't put a foot wrong since Canada. Makes his way over the Esplanade Bridge into Kona. He's had win after win after win. He's fighting for that pole record. He might get it soon next season if Willow doesn't return. But here he comes then. JohnJohn through turn 16, through 17 for the final time. He's waving and celebrating. He knows he's done it. The Star Spangled Banner will play over the speakers. JohnJohn takes the win, takes the Grand Slam, and is your Season 9 no assists tier champion. What a drive from the American. Unbelievable. This race, this season, very, very well deserved. Unbelievable scenes. COD takes P2 on the road. Might feel a little bit hard done by that little move that him and JohnJohn had, but ultimately I think that's just a racing incident. That he was left enough room, just understeered into him. It's unfortunate. He finishes P2 on the road, but with Deflated being P3, that means your final standings will be JohnJohn P1 on 326 points. You then have Deflated just behind. I say just behind. That might be a little bit BM. I do apologise, Liam. Does pick up 18 points, which means he finishes 1 point ahead of COD and takes P2 in the standings. COD will be P3. I think we've got Socks, or is it Chivers doing donuts? It is Chivers doing donuts. We'll jump on board with Chivers. It'll be good not to get disqualified here at the end, I think. I think even if he does, we'll probably still give him P9 anyway. We know he's that close. That was your top 3, and I do believe with that as well, Mercedes are your Constructors' Champions for NA this season as well, as Chivers reverses his way over the line. What a race. What a season. You couldn't have asked for much more, really, could you? You really, really couldn't. Everything. I think the only thing that was missing was wet weather. That was all we needed. It was just a smidgen of moisture, a tiny droplet, just a little bit of moisture. But there you have it. I can't believe it's over. To be perfectly honest, what am I going to do now? I don't know what I'm going to do on my Tuesday evenings. Did you say wet weather? I've jinxed it for Thursday now, haven't I? I've jinxed it now. We will be there. No, Nico, no. 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 You had that at Imola, we're not having it again. And that is it. Season 9 of No Assists done and dusted. JohnJohn, your championship winner. P1, pole position, fastest lap, Grand Slam, signed, sealed and delivered. Cod Camper, P2 on the road but P3 in the championship. Deflated, P3 on the road, P2 in the championship. Prev P4, Aya P5, that guy P6, Sox P7, David P8, Chivers P9, Velocity P10, and I can't see the rest of them because I also have an ad, but there's your top 10. I do apologise for that one. But that has been us. Season 9 is that it almost brings a tear to my eye, to be perfectly honest. I want to thank, first of all, the drivers, just for no assists currently, because we still have our other 2 races we have to do this week. I want to thank, in fact, we'll go over those first actually. We have Realistic on Thursday at 7:30, and I believe that will be Sox and Tacit streaming that one. We then also have the final round of assists where the constructors are still up for grabs as well. I think it's a 3-way fight in the constructors for that one as well. And that is Sunday at 7:30 as well, and I think that will be Snacks and Deflated, or maybe Tacit as well, streaming that one. 2 races left of our season 9 season. I can't believe it. There is like tears in my eyes that it's nearly done. I can't believe it. It's flown by. Absolutely flown by. Next season you're not streaming because you're driving in a... Yes, I am doing no assists next season. So everybody, I do apologise if I hit yous. I'm still learning the way. Still learning the ways of no fizzy worm showing me where to brake. But yeah, that is season 9 no assists done. I want to thank the drivers for putting on an unbelievable show for those full 15 rounds that we had. We had Canada with last lap passes, we had Australia with safety car drama, we had Imola, we had this tonight with like a pass for the championship with 2 laps to go. It's been a wonderful season. I have absolutely loved commentating over it. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. I want to say a thank you to you guys as well for tuning into the streams, making the league what it is. It's been a wonderful season. Just football for any. First of all, it'll be a lot more soppier on Sunday when it's when it is officially done and dusted. But for the final time for No Assist Tuesdays, thank you all for watching, and I will hopefully see you all in the future. Bye bye.